Hey everybody, welcome to the weekend update for December 24th, 2021. My name is Ethan Davis from the Sawtooth Avalanche Center, and the weekend update this week is going to touch on what sort of weather we saw, snow totals, avalanches, and take a look ahead at what the weather has in store for this weekend through the Christmas holiday, as well as what sort of avalanche conditions we might expect. So let's dive right in. A week in review. We had a quick hitting snow and wind storm Sunday night through Monday, which triggered a small avalanche cycle in the southern Sawtooths and likely the western Smokies as well. We had some snow Wednesday, and then we had what most of you will recall, which is our big snowstorm that just occurred on Thursday, which was yesterday. That brought the avalanche danger to high in all zones, and it remains there today on Friday. Today, Friday, we have a lull between storms, but we have some storms lining up currently over Vancouver Island and crossing into Washington as we speak. So that'll influence our weather moving forward. This is MacDonald Peak in the southern Sawtooth Mountains, and these very large avalanches were observed Tuesday morning. The starting zones range from about 9,200 to 9,700 feet, and they face predominantly east-northeast. These slides were a result of about only 4 to 6 inches of snow that fell in the area on Sunday, followed by moderate to strong wind. Notably, in my opinion, is that this relatively small load was all it took to break the proverbial camel's back. So a snowpack feedback like this with a relatively small storm, along with a host of poor stability test scores during the week and an overall spooky dense slab, which sits over a well-defined weak layer, are the main driver behind our current state of high avalanche danger. On this same day, Sun Valley Heliski remotely triggered an avalanche with the helicopter landing on a safe flat ridge about a quarter mile away. So the snowpack was talkative and leading up into the current storm that we just had yesterday. This video here is from me on Wednesday, just prior to the storm on Fox Peak. And what you can notice is this thick slab that we've developed during the last big storm event prior to Thursday, and the weak layer that you'll see fracture in this test. So you can see it break and just slump down there into the old weak facets near the ground. The slab that I'm prying with the shovel there is almost 1 meter thick, so roughly 3 feet, and is quite dense near the bottom. You can see a pretty stark delineated line of gray snow there at the bottom. Those are the facets and weak sugary snow that we developed in early October, and the primary weak layer that a lot of the avalanche activity thus far we've seen is failing on. So moving forward to yesterday's storm, this storm table here shows that the storm started relatively slowly on Wednesday. Wednesday morning, we kind of had a quick hitting 3 to 5 tenths of snow water equivalent. But yesterday, in that 24-hour period, we had a pretty good wallop of about 7/10 to 1 inch of water. Some areas quite a bit higher than that, like the Lostwood Divide got 1.5 inches of water in the last 24 hours, which is up Trail Creek. We also got, well, a little outside of our forecast zone to the west, Trinity Mountain got 1.8 inches of water, snow water equivalent in 24 hours. Another outlier kind of on the high end is Banner Summit with almost 1.5 inches of water. But if you kind of turn those water totals into overall snow, the snow column here, when you're looking at these storm totals, because the snowpack is also starting to settle as the snow is piling up, these numbers kind of undershoot how much snow you might actually have gotten had you been standing there measuring it hour by hour. But a good estimate is that in the last snow totals since Wednesday in Banner Summit are anywhere from 24 to 32 inches. In the Sawtooths and Western Smokies, we've got 16 to 28 inches. Galena Summit area and the eastern mountains, which encompass the White Clouds and Pioneers, got anywhere from 2 to 3 feet of snow. Right around the Wood River Valley, we've gotten almost an inch of snow water equivalent, so just over a foot or so of snow in total since Wednesday. But some of the wetter portions of the southern mountain zone, namely the Littlewood Reservoir, actually, which is this Swede Peak number over here, 1.4 inches. And the Soldier Mountains, which are very similar, almost an inch and a half of water since Wednesday at the start of the storm. So it's a pretty good load. And you can imagine that with this sort of stronger storm, much stronger than the one that caused that avalanche on MacDonald Peak, we'd expect to see some very large avalanches out there. And already this morning, we're getting reports of very large avalanches in the Sawtooths as visibility starts to increase. And stay tuned tonight and tomorrow. I'm sure there will be some pretty cool pictures coming out of some big avalanches that occurred as direct feedback to that last storm that we just had in the last 24 hours. Looking at snow depths across the region in general, the storm that just finished up really favored Banner Summit, which is up here in the northwestern portion of our zones. The crest of the west side of the crest of the Sawtooths, as also encompassing the western Smoky Mountains over here, and which is just north of Soldier Mountain and pretty much directly west of Galena Summit, and portions of the Littlewood Reservoir, north of the Littlewood Reservoir area, and into the Pioneers, actually. So we kind of went from 0 snow in a lot of places on the 10th of December to a snowpack now only 20 days later, where we've got almost 60 inches of snow at Banner and 50 inches of snow pretty much right across the board in a lot of our middle elevation areas. So weather forecast, we have more snow on the way tonight. Today again is kind of a lull in the storms, but we'll have snow overnight, maybe 4 to 8 inches in favored areas. That continues to trickle in on Christmas. Most areas overnight, though, will be kind of in the 2 to 4 inch range, so not real impactful overnight. A bigger storm arrives, though, on Christmas night, kind of lasts through Monday. And beyond that, we have some frigid temperatures ahead of us as an Arctic air mass, which is usually dry and cold, arrives next week, but we'll know more about that in the coming days. A quick look at what the satellite imagery looks like right now. Here we are in Idaho, kind of right about where my mouse is. Hopefully you can see that, the center of the state here, south central Idaho. And this big low pressure system, this anticyclone that is forming along the coast of British Columbia and then moves down slowly into Washington and Oregon, is going to be the major producer for our storm that starts Friday night and kind of lingers on into Monday. It kind of comes down to the Oregon coast and then is forecast to kind of linger there for a little while and then sort of awkwardly lose steam and amble its way up into British Columbia. But stalling out close to us usually means that it'll bring some good snowfall. And right now it looks like the Soldiers and Western Smokies are kind of favored for snowfall from Friday on through Monday. Taking a closer look, here we are. This is Blaine County. So if you're sitting in the Wood River Valley, you're kind of in the middle here. Galena Summit is up on this flat section at the top of the county there. And you can see the back edge of this storm that's just clearing is providing some pretty good visibility out there in the latest satellite imagery. And that little break, that little window between the storm that's just leaving and the storm that's arriving tonight will give us some pretty good visibility, and hopefully we'll get some good pictures as we move forward. It's pretty neat to see this storm intensify as it moves down the coast here as well. So the National Weather Service in Boise just published this storm total amounts that they expect from 5 a.m. on Friday, December 24th through 5 p.m. on Monday, December 27th. So encompassing the whole weekend and Christmas holiday. And you can see there's a lot more snow in this round than what we got out of the Thursday storm. And a big part of that is not necessarily that there's more moisture in it, but because the temperatures down in Haley and Fairfield, some of the lower areas were actually quite warm during this last storm under southwest flow. So this next storm coming in will have a little bit better support with colder air temperatures sinking in behind it. So we could be up for over a foot in the Fairfield and Haley area, as well as Stanley, and then higher amounts in the mountains. This white shading here, since I cut it off on the bottom, was around 2 feet, and the blobs of blue were around 3 feet. So a decent amount of snow coming, sort of spread out over the next few days from Friday night on in through Monday. So what does this all mean for our avalanche conditions? This, just like I mentioned, we essentially went from 0 with not a lot of snow anywhere on the 10th of December to what looks like a midwinter snowpack already, just in the course of just over two weeks. So this unusually rapid formation of a thick, dense slab over a spooky weak layer is something that we don't really deal with a lot. Normally we're looking at a snowpack like this late in the year, like mid to late January or into February, even not this early. We're still getting porous snowpack test scores. So this weak layer at the bottom just has not had time to adjust. This is the weak layer right here where Ben was running his saw through. He started running his saw through this weak layer, got to about here and initiated a fracture that propagated across the entire column. This column, to give you some references, is over 4 feet deep, and the overall snowpack depth here was nearly 6 feet deep. So a block of this size, if you extrapolate that out onto a mountain scale or slope scale rather, is going to produce a very large avalanche that's unsurvivable and quite destructive. So, we'll see what we see with some clearing skies after this Thursday storm. We have a bit more snow coming on the way. It was spooky before the storm. This extra load really isn't helping our weak layer any at the moment. So patience is the name of the game. North facing stuff, a lot of folks were just plain avoiding anyway because of the presence of this weak layer before the storm. That danger remains on those same aspects where that week old snow near the ground sits. But now we're also going to start seeing the potential for avalanches on other aspects, with just the storm snow from Thursday as well as this weekend starting to pile up on top of this, where we were finding some interesting crusts, some surface ore, some facets, and so forth. So the easy kind of I just avoid weak snow at the ground sort of travel that a lot of folks were utilizing prior to this storm cycle really isn't going to be that effective after this storm cycle, because there will be a lot more question marks as to what's going on at the surface, at least initially, until we get a little bit better handle on how all these storms pan out. So just a reminder, please share what you see out there. We love getting your observations. We love getting your texts, your phone calls, whatever it is. Even just letting us know how much snow you find at a trailhead is handy. And from all of us at the Avalanche Center, we just want to wish you a happy and safe holiday. Please check in to our daily avalanche forecast each day at sawtoothavalanche.com. Consider supporting the Friends. They're a big part of helping us fulfill our mission. We're really proud of what we do here and proud of our community of avalanche professionals and guides and observers and the whole snow community here in the Valley. And it's a wonderful thing to be a part of. And we thank you guys very much. Have a safe weekend, and we'll see you guys next week for the next weekend update.